tournament. When we return, it's a Big East rivalry as Georgetown visits Villanova on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
Welcome back inside the Fin, where everybody getting excited for the old school Big East rivalry. Villanova taking on Georgetown. Wildcats 4-2 in conference play, feeling awful good about themselves. They also clinched a share of the Big Five crown with a non-conference win over Penn earlier in the week. We're set for action, and Villanova will get the basketball first.
Look for Georgetown to try to cause some chaotic defense as they average 6.5 steals per game.
Turnovers a big part of what they try to do to make opposing offenses uncomfortable. Villanova, meanwhile, lots of ball movement. Herlihy with 8 to shoot, trying to create. Got stuck but found Gadeka, who walked, and an early turnover gives it back to the Hoyas.
Really good closeout there by Grace Ann Bennett, forcing Mary Gadeka to put the ball on the floor at the end of the shot clock.
Grace Ann Bennett, true freshman, has started all but 2 games so far this season for the Hoyas. Barnes, their leading scorer, the only player in double figures for Georgetown, misses early. And good hustle as Maddie Sechrist to the floor for the board for Villanova.
It's going to be really important for Villanova to get bodies on the Georgetown Hoyas, especially when they're taking outside shots.
James, nice feed for Sechrist, but she thought stripped on the way up. Turns out she lost it. Ball to Georgetown.
Again, Grace Ann Bennett, great job in the defensive rotation. Georgetown doing a nice job in the first 2 sets.
So 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for the Wildcats. And Georgetown from deep on the board first. Taylor Barnes, the grad senior, transfer from Memphis. Nice shot early.
She's been such a great addition for this Georgetown Hoya squad, the only player averaging double figures thus far.
Gadeka looking for an answer, can't convert. Sechrist will get a second chance opportunity. Nice cut from Gadeka, draws the contact. And we'll head to the line for a pair looking to get the Wildcats on the board. How are they going to be successful today, Christine?
Well, I think it's really important for Georgetown to be on the line, up the line. You see there, Mary Gadeka cutting through. You got to jump to the ball when you're playing one pass away. But Georgetown needs to limit those touches for Mary Gadeka. They have to keep the turnovers low, and they have to close out well, which they've done so far.
Gadeka will get one more free throw, the senior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Old reliable on this Villanova roster. She's never missed a game during her 4-year career. Her 117th consecutive contest, and she puts the Wildcats on the board.
She's really become one of the Villanova greats. Her mom played for Harry Peretta as well, but she has been the staple. Harry Peretta wants the ball in her hands 75% of the time.
Georgetown going to Barnes early. She's taken all 3 of the Hoyas' shots. Has made only 1, though, and here come the Wildcats.
It's one thing Coach Howard talked about is not settling for those outside shots, really trying to get the ball to the rim.
Gadeka with still plenty of time on the shot clock finds Onken, who hits the 3. Only her 6th make in 45 tries this year as the Wildcats their first lead.
And Georgetown, no closeouts there.
You talked about limiting Gadeka and the closeout. Some of the keys to watch for this Georgetown team today. Off the dribble, a set shot goes for marvelous Osagi Aresi.
Yeah, she's been great. She can hit that little pull-up shot, or she can get to the rim as well.
Old school right there. James looking to create. She's done a nice job in Big East play, facilitating this offense. Wide open again, and the same result, Cameron Onken.
That's something that the Hoyas must correct. 2 times they sunk in too low, and there wasn't even an attempt at a closeout on Onken.
In their defense, I don't think she was on the scouting report as a perimeter shooter. She's 2 of 2 today, but now 7 of 46 of the season is the weak side rebound. Corralled by Herlihy for Villanova. Gadeka pawed at by Barnes, but able to keep the handle. Nice backdoor cut as she gets it back for 2.
Yeah, that was a tough one there for Taylor Barnes. She turned her head, and Mary Gadeka, being the veteran that she is, with the slip.
That's the beauty of the Harry Peretta offense. Everybody in motion. All it takes is 1 lapse, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. And they teach these players how to play. It's not always set things. They're reading those screens, and they're knowing what they need to do based on how the defense plays them.
Tough shot off the bounce from Brianna Jones, and the ball back to Villanova.
Yeah, right now the Villanova defense doing a nice job of making Georgetown settle for some outside shots, causing some turnovers. Villanova's really going to have to contain that dribble penetration of the Hoyas today.
Wildcats second in the Big East in field goal percentage defense as James hits the triple.
You know, they talk so much this season of Villanova not shooting as well from the perimeter, especially from the three-point line. That is not the case so far today.
Raven James only 23% on the year from deep. They were looking for a third scorer. They found a 4th and a 5th so far. Nice take off the bounce from Brianna Jones.
That was a great quick first step on the left-hand side. Only needed 1 or 2 dribbles to get it all the way to the rim. Long strides.
They want Jones to drive the ball more. I feel she's been settling for jumpers a little too much. Seacrest trying to get in on the action. Good hustle from the freshman Bennett to grab the long rebound.
Anytime you have three-point shooting teams, you know there's going to be a lot of long rebounds. Got to get a body on somebody.
What a move. Osagi Aresi pulling the string.
Really quick pace here early in this game.
That, you would think, favors Georgetown. Villanova's been more of a plotting team this year. Nice post up. Hurley, he got position inside. Couldn't finish with the left, though. And Jones grabs the rebound.
It was great the way she received that ball, stepped through it, and then slipped through between right to the rim.
Jones can't hit the pull-up. Seacrest grabs the rebound the other way.
And Raven James going to set things up. Didn't like the last 2 sets down. Going to set up that motion. A lot of times Villanova do that 4-out, 1-in, or a 5-out completely, looking for those slips and curls.
Just past the midpoint of this opening quarter, Villanova and Georgetown for the Veteran Pavilion on the main line in Pennsylvania. Gadeka couldn't get the defender in the air, still got past her for the deuce.
What she was able to do there, instead of going in for the layup, she squared her body to the rim in order to keep the defense on her back. Strong move by Gedeka.
It's a pretty good defender she went by, too. Brianna Jones, a fifth-year senior. Stagnant here for Georgetown offensively, 12 to shoot. Barnes looking to create. Tough angle, and Anka the board.
Yeah, Barnes wanted the foul there. I thought she did a good job of swinging through and taking her defender to the rim. A little bit of contact, no call.
Gone a long time without a whistle. Almost 3 minutes of game action. Herlihy in the post with the left hand.
She's been so important for this Villanova squad. Everybody talks about Maddie Segrist and Mary Gedeka, but Bridget Herlihy is the next scorer for this team.
Georgetown has to take a timeout as Villanova. A hot start offensively. The Wildcats getting it done from the perimeter. Cameron Onken with a pair of early trays. Nova ahead by 7.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Welcome back into Finneran Pavilion. Ahead of today's game, players from Villanova and Georgetown wore shooting shirts that read, "We cannot walk alone." The quote is from the historic Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, and players all around the Big East, both men's and women's, are wearing these warm-ups this weekend ahead of the celebration of the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Monday.
Thanks a lot, Megan. Absolutely a fantastic thing that the Big East is doing. It would have been Dr. King's 91st birthday, and certainly his words ring so true today, just as they did during his life, and one that was worth celebrating.
Absolutely, and Monday celebrating that day, so many people doing days of service, getting out into their communities and not just talking about Martin Luther King and what he did, but actually giving back and doing it and showing some evidence of their work as well.
Living to his legacy, Villanova off to a good start here on the basketball court, up 16-9, getting it done from the perimeter as the Wildcats have hit 3 of 5 already from deep. You're usually not surprised about that when talking about a Harry Peretta coach team, but this year it's been a bit of a different story.
It has been, and one thing we talked about too against this Georgetown Hoya team that the Cats need to do is dominate those boards. They need to leave one and dones for the Hoyas. Right now, dominating 7-2 on the boards.
Jones off the dribble, tough outside jumper for Tayana Jones, and another one and done forced by Villanova.
Well, Georgetown needs to crash the boards. They're settling for some outside shots, but then everybody's standing and watching. No one's darting to the rim, keeping your safety back, but everybody else should be darting, trying to get some of those offensive rebounds.
See, Chris, nice job to draw the defense. Finds Herlihy, who can't hit the three. Flat-footed rebound from Kaleva.
Barnes not wanting to pick up the ball. I think she thought she was going to have a double dribble because she lost control, trying to get one of her teammates to come pick it up.
Georgetown looks a little flat here in the early going.
Yeah, and again, I think they need to get that ball on the floor, get to the rim, try to create some opportunities, draw fouls, and see that ball go through the hoop.
One of the things James Howard was lamenting with us this week, once that focus from the start with this basketball team, nice block, as keeping her foot was Herlihy, and Villanova goes the other way. Nowhere for Osagie Aresi to go.
And that's something that Bridget Herlihy brings to this squad. She has a ton of blocks. Harry Pretter says she's one of the top 2 defenders on the team, often taking the best player.
One of Villanova's best defenders outside of Herlihy, Raven Jones, doing it with offense. She's got 5 in the early going. The Wildcats doubling up the Hoyas.
Yeah, she's been key for this Villanova squad, giving a different element for the Cats.
Jones the other way gets the roll, and it's 18-11.
We definitely need a phonetics sheet here with all the Joneses and the Jameses. There's all types of J's out here.
Raven James, junior point guard, earned playing time as an underclassman, pure tenacity, Harry Peretta said. And now this year really understands the offense, knows when to look for her own shot, when to look for her teammates, looking for her own early. And 2 more for James.
And if you notice, she scooped that up with her right hand. Raven James is lefty. Great take. That might look natural for everyone else, but that's her offhand.
Use the rim as protection. Jones pass deflected to the sidelines. Active hands for the redshirt freshman Maddie Sechrist. And Nikola Kovachikova in for the first time as Osagie Aresi gets talking to from her head coach, James Howard, who's in his 3rd season at Georgetown.
There you saw the end of Raven James' scoop shot. But what you're seeing from Villanova here on the defensive end, look how spread out they are. Look how they're pushing Georgetown out on the perimeter. Look at the middle wide open. That's why they need to penetrate.
Barnes got stuck, somehow found Kovachikova, who buries the jumper.
And when I say penetrate, I mean shoot the 3, Kovachikova.
But the 3 was set up on the penetration from Barnes.
And it was great ball movement there. Way to kick it out to the outside player, drawing in Villanova, making them help and recover, but no closeout.
Final 50 seconds of this opening quarter. Nova by 6. James has had the fast start, pulls the string. Finds Sechrist, who hits the 3.
Excellent job right now by Raven James. The way she is commanding this offense, finding her teammates, and Maddie Sechrist on the winning end of that shot.
And she was ready for the catch and shoot, had confidence James would find her. Barnes deep of deep. Short, not surprisingly. Nova can hold for 1. And Sechrist wisely slows it up.
Not sure that that's the last shot that they wanted there by Coach Howard.
Gadeka drew 2 defenders. 5 seconds left. James trying to finish the quarter in style with the fadeaway. Can't get enough on it. But still an impressive first 10 minutes for the Wildcats. Raven James had 7. Cameron Onken had 6. And the Wildcats are in control early.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Strong opening quarter for Villanova. Wildcats up by 9. Thanks to some hot outside shooting, 57% from 3. plenty of hot shooting in the Big East last week, including Maddie Seacrest winning Freshman of the Week honors for the 7th time already this year.
You know, talking to Coach Harry Peretta, he knew that she was going to be good. I don't think he realized she was going to give this kind of offensive output this early in her career.
Meanwhile, Selena Lott picking up for all the departures at Marquette, won Player of the Week honors. Christian Spolier, who had a big game in this building last week against the Wildcats, anchors the weekly Big East honor roll. There's some depth in this conference this year.
It's fantastic. Watching Jalen Agnew, Ariana Gray, I had both of those games here at Villanova. Just phenomenal players. The Big East is so competitive this year, and we're seeing each and every week different players stepping up, not only in the Big East, but for their individual teams as well.
Gray played Georgetown and Villanova last week, got off to a real fast start against the Wildcats, and was key in the Musketeers' victory over Georgetown, their first Big East win of the year. Second quarter starts with the Hoyas looking to find their footing really on both ends of the floor, but particularly on the defensive side.
Yeah, where we've seen the big discrepancy, you talked about that Villanova perimeter shooting, but they also have 8 points in the paint, but they're +8 on rebounds, and that's where the big key has been.
Kovachikova setting up Karanji and drawing the foul.
But you see the difference in how they're coming out in this second quarter. What is she doing? She's putting the ball on the floor and attacking. You know, Georgetown has a quick first step. Make Villanova work. Swing through, get to the rim, make the defense move.
Kovachikova, native of Slovakia. Good free throw shooter, 10 of 13 on the year. Doesn't get there a ton, more of an outside shooter, but rewarded with a couple of free throws for putting it on the deck that time.
You know, this isn't a huge deficit, but whenever you dig a little bit of hole, especially opening the game in the first quarter, that's how you can make up some points. Draw fouls, get to the free throw line.
Gadeka again driving the baseline. Her pass for Anken was deflected. Good recovery by the Georgetown defense. Still, they get it inside. Hurley, he had it blocked from behind by Kaleva. Starts Barnes on the break. She was stumbling and fumbling, but somehow corralled it. And a drive from Jones with the right hand.
Yeah, we're seeing a very different game plan. 2 straight possessions, 2 straight times to the rim.
The Georgetown staff has been begging Tiana Jones drive the basketball. You can see why with that move. Hurley tries the up and under. Couldn't get the roll.
And now we're seeing blue jerseys all around the rim. Villanova not crashing the boards there. Georgetown doing a great job of heading to the rim.
Wide open, Kovachikova brings the Hoyas back to within 2.
What a great start here in the second quarter, and what great adjustments by Coach Howard and his staff to get this team to reset here in the second quarter.
7-0 run from Georgetown. And a foul away from the ball against the Hoyas. A little too physical inside with Hurley.
Well, there's always so much action going on off the ball when you play a Villanova Wildcats squad. They're slipping, they're curling, they're popping, they're flaring. You never know which way they're going to go. Trying to get around that curl, great offensive read, and drawing that foul off the ball.
Jones called for the personal, her first. Sam Karanji, who missed 10 games early in the season with injury. Harry Peretta said wasn't sure what they'd get from Karanji upon her return, but she's been a pleasant surprise. Picked up right where she left off as an outside shooter. 4 to go here. What a tip by Seacrest to herself. Stuck with it. Was that in time? They'll count it, but they'll check it.
Yeah, I think that might have been still in her hand when the shot clock went off. But great job by Maddie Seacrest to keep the ball high to try to get the putback.
So they're going to go over to the far side monitor to look. With Nova up 2, just over 2 minutes into the second quarter. We'll be back with more Big East basketball in a moment.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
So they reviewed it, and the basket was just barely in time. A fantastic individual effort from Maddie Sechrist, and Villanova has a 4-point lead over Georgetown.
And the reason why she was able to get it off is because she did what you're supposed to do. She got that rebound, kept the ball high, and was able to get the quick putback.
Tiana Jones again off the bounce.
Yeah, I can't believe this. I mean, Georgetown, what a difference here in the second quarter. They went from settling for outside jump shots to attacking the rim.
Also doing a better job closing the back door on Villanova, which was open in the opening quarter. Herlihy this time diving to the bucket, plus the foul.
Osagiarisi just late on that help on the weak side. She had the right idea, but was just a split second too late. And Bridget Herlihy able to finish strong.
Well, we have seen Villanova's inside players able to finish with either hand, the left and the right. So dangerous to a defense when you can go both ways.
You know, you have different teams. You have really, chaotic, smothering defensive teams. You have really athletic teams with quick first steps. And you have really intelligent and skilled teams. And Villanova, these players by Harry Peretta for 42 years have been taught the right way. They can go right and left. They can have their backs to the basket, and their footwork is spectacular. But it's drilled and it's practiced.
Kaleva kicked it out. And using the window, Osagiarisi. Don't know if she called it, but it counts nonetheless.
Oh, the banks are open here on Saturday night.
Better hurry before it gets midnight. Georgetown again back to within 2. Gadeka off to a slow start. Couldn't handle the pass. Kovachikova the steal.
Kovachikova was trying to front her. Didn't quite get there, but was able to get a hand on it.
The Hoyas chance to take their first lead since the opening minute. If they could hit a 3 here. Passing it up, Jones lost it on her way to the basket. Back to Villanova.
Yeah, a little bit out of control there. Maddie Sechrist was coming over to help. Onken was showing and then digging and then returning. If Jones could have handled that, she might have been able to get it up or draw a foul.
Good hands from Onken. She got a lot of that basketball, but it was clean.
She's been a great defender for the squad. She doesn't always do things that show up in the stat book. I mean, she hit a couple of threes early, but she does those little things. She's always in the right spot.
Herlihy left open. Can't make Georgetown pay, but Gadeka working hard to draw the foul. Keeps the basketball with the Wildcats.
And she was able to draw that foul because she was in the right spot at the right time. She crashed the boards for the weak side rebound, got position on Kovachikova, and nothing she could do.
Raven James back in at point for Villanova. She thought about it. They get it inside to Sechrist. Went with the hook. Couldn't quite get the roll.
They're really trying to isolate Maddie Sechrist. They're doing that 4 out, 1 in and trying to let her go to work, but they haven't been able to get the ball to her.
Now this is more the tempo we had expected coming in.
Well, that's why Georgetown's so dangerous. They can score in bunches. They can go in droughts, but they can score in bunches as well.
Jones settles for the outside jumper. Herlihy clears the board. Georgetown back in transition. Villanova's fine with that, not necessarily looking to run anyway. Get into their offense as James held the pivot, but good hands. Osagiarisi forced the turnover.
A little bit too much congestion there. James driving at the same time Sechrist was cutting. She almost got that ball there.
In and out for Osagiarisi, but an offensive rebound. Jones couldn't quite sneak it over the rim, and Villanova ends up with the ball. And look at the redshirt freshman calming everybody down, Maddie Sechrist.
And that was the first offensive rebound for the Hoyas in this game.
Did not pay off. Georgetown down 2 at the mid-stage of this second quarter. Gadeka hoists the triple and hits.
That almost looked like, the flare screen didn't quite work, but there was no hand in her face. It was like, oh, well, I'm just going to shoot it anyway. And those are the types of things Mary Gadeka can do.
Raven James called for the reach-in foul in the backcourt, so it'll be Georgetown ball when we return. The Hoyas off to a good start in the second quarter, but Gadeka's 3. It's the lead back to 5 for Harry Peretta's team.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Nova up 5 halfway through this second quarter from the Finneran Pavilion on the main line in Pennsylvania. The Big East Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Jeep returns to Wintrust Arena in downtown Chicago March 6th through the 9th. All session tickets for the 2020 conference tournament are now on sale, starting at just $50. For tickets, visit bigeast.com/WBB tickets. That should be a very interesting event. This is a deep conference this year, and DePaul's certainly the favorite, but anybody probably could go out to Chicago and win the one this year the way these teams have matched up early.
Yeah, every time you look at each night and the scores from the previous night, it's just phenomenal. The upsets, the competitive games, and then you'll see a blowout by maybe a team that you thought was, gonna lose. So it has been really, I wouldn't say inconsistent, but I would say unpredictable this year. It really is a wide open tournament. DePaul, obviously the favorite, but I don't even think people thought Marquette losing all that they lost. 5 1,000-point scorers, a 2,000-point scorer, losing their coach, a new staff, and look at how well they're doing this year as well. A lot of those players that sat on the bench for a couple of years, they're like, hey, we practiced against those people. We might not have been able to get on the floor, but look at us now, proving some things to the Big East Conference.
Harry Perrette in his 42nd season on the Villanova sidelines, always good for a one-liner or two. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said, this is my last year, so I want to win the tournament, as he shot off the mark. James pulls down the rebound for Villanova. But I'd be saying that if it wasn't my last year with UConn coming into the league anyway.
Yeah, he also said, he goes, I didn't know if we'd even win 8 games this year. He's like, we've already hit that, so I'd say we're doing all right.
Herlihy again from deep, and Villanova continues to fill it up from distance.
Yeah, so complimentary Harry was of Bridget Herlihy and what she's been able to do, stepping up, working on her outside shot, becoming that third scorer after Segrist and Gadeka. She's been so important to this team.
Kovačikova forced it, but Bennett there to clean it up. Get the Hoyas another opportunity. Jones can't get the bounce, and Villanova this time the board.
See, and once you get that second opportunity, settling for those outside shots, work it around again, try to get to the rim. They've had a lot of success getting to the rim.
Wildcats up 8, looking to grow the advantage. Onken hit the 2 early threes. James also had a big first quarter, and she'll go to the free throw line, looking to add to already 7 points in the game. We've got Megan Caffrey with us. She was listening to the huddle during the last timeout. What you hear, Megan?
Thanks, Matt. Well, listening in on the Georgetown huddle, one of the big stresses that Coach Howard was stressing to his team was to take away the 3-point from Villanova. They've got 6 3-pointers so far in this game, so he was stressing defense, put your hands up against that. And also, his big message to his Hoyas team, Coach Howard, was give me everything you got going into this halftime break, guys.
That's a great point. It's exactly what he was stressing coming in this week. Georgetown, the concentration has been a little inconsistent from this group. When they're locked in, they can be good. When they're not, it's been tough sledding.
He said they have to be detailed-oriented on defense, and they have to focus on those fundamentals. He said basically to offset some of their offensive deficiencies.
Jones got the offensive board. Couldn't get the roll, but another opportunity for the Hoyas as Barnes hustled it down. Bennett walked as she did not have her balance trying to get past the long arms of Gedeka.
But yeah, he wants to see that consistent sense of urgency, especially when you've had a little bit of a rough go of it in conference play. You have to do everything you can. You might not always make baskets, and you might not always be more skilled than other players, but you can control your attitude, you can control your effort, and you can control doing things the right way.
Effort gets an offensive foul. An illegal screen on Brooke Mullen for the Wildcats. Gives it back to Georgetown.
Yeah, you see the ball movement by Villanova. They've always been so good at the ball movement, but defense for Georgetown right now, that's going to be their key to chip away at this lead.
They've got to find a bucket. They have not scored in almost 5 minutes. An 8-0 run for Villanova. Barnes looking to create herself. Barrels into Herlihy for the offensive foul.
That's a perfect example of what Bridget Herlihy brings to this team. We've mentioned her improved shooting. We've mentioned her blocking shots with her length. And there she's stepping into the right spot in help defense, taking the charge for her team, gaining yet another extra possession for the Villanova Wildcats.
Not a bad idea from Barnes. You just got to come to a jump stop there, right?
Exactly. And again, those are those details that Coach Howard talked about. Seeing that the defense is there, you can't plow in and leave your feet. You take the jump shot. We always say life is in the details. Well, basketball is in the details. As I always tell my boys' team, I have 2 boys. They're 5th and 6th grade team. Basketball is in the details.
Herlihy again with the left hand, and Nova's up a game-high 12.
Yeah, she's going to hear her name a lot today. She's just taking it at the Hoyas, showing her assertiveness and her attack on the offensive and defensive ends.
Your boys' team, Coach Mata, was in action earlier today, right?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that one. Not the best day for St. Peter's boys basketball.
Barnes can't hit the 3, and Gedeka chases down the loose ball.
But it's the same at every level when you think about it, from elementary school all the way through the professionals. If you do things the right way and you pay attention to the details, and the angles and the little things you do, then you're going to elevate your play.
Villanova's elevated its play down the stretch of this second quarter. Herlihy doing work.
Herlihy, that looked like back-to-back highlights, mirroring what she did on the last set, taking it with her left hand, and with those long strides and extension, nothing that the Hoyas can do, especially if you're not rotating into help defense.
She's got a game-high 12, and Nova up by 14. Georgetown in desperate need of a bucket. Barnes looking to get off the schneid. Will head to the free throw line, as the Hoyas have not scored now in 6 minutes and 33 seconds.
What strength displayed there by Taylor Barnes, able to get that ball out of her hands. Raven James had both her hands on there. She was falling backwards, and that was just strength. She showed pure strength getting that shot, even having an attempt to let it go in the basket.
Barnes, interesting kid, graduated at Memphis, wanted to go finish up her college career at Georgetown. She's working on getting a master's degree, and James Howard really complimenting the way she goes about her business, always trying to get her teammates to communicate, get them in the right spot, make sure everybody's on the same page. Says she's fit in perfectly.
Yeah, he loves her experience. He said she works so hard, she can see the floor, but it's her basketball IQ that he loves. He said her bringing that experience and intelligence has really helped this squad.
25 seconds left in the opening half. Nice backdoor cut from Gedeka. James is a little late with the pass, but dove on the floor to get it back and traveled. And Georgetown will get the last shot. So a big trip here for Georgetown after a more than 6.5 minute stretch without a point. If they can get a basket here, be down 9 or 10 at the break, feel like a big lift. Kavachakova looks like she wants to be the one to take it. Finds Barnes, and she buries the 3. And somehow Georgetown pulls to within single digits at the break.
Executed perfectly by the Hoyas. Again, Bridget Herlihy able to get to the rim. I think we're seeing a little bit of a difference here, but Villanova on top, 40-31 at half.
You're watching Georgetown Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Big East Fast Break is the weekly women's basketball show hosted by myself and Ashley Lyotis, breaking down everything you need to know around the league about Big East women's hoops. You can catch all new episodes during the season at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays on Twitter and Big East YouTube pages. On this week's episode, I caught up with the Big East Player of the Week, Marquette's Selena Lott. Check it out.
The Marquette Golden Eagles are 3-2 in Big East play, coming off of a 2-0 weekend beating St. John's and Seton Hall, as I'm now joined by the Big East Player of the Week, Selena Lott. Selena, your team lost your first 2 conference games. However, you've now won 3 straight Big East games. Head coach Megan Duffy said your execution has been different throughout these. What has been the difference in your execution?
Honestly, it's just determination, and we all have to stay humble. Like our teammates, it's like a player-led team, so our coaches try to stay out of it as much, and then we just have to get in extra work just to be better.
You had a career high 34 points in your win over St. John's. Offensively, how were you able to have so much production?
Honestly, I don't even see it as much as my coaches do. So my coaches like give me highlights of like when I can attack, or like whenever I come off on the bench. My coach, Skeet, will tell me and be like, this is what you have. Like, you have your little pull-up game, you have the 3, you could drive. So I just take her advice whenever.
Head coach Megan Duffy also mentioned the fact that this season a lot of teammates have been stepping up. When you look to your game against Seton Hall on Sunday, Lauren Van Kloon didn't have as much of an offensive game as she usually does. And then you have freshman Cameron Taylor stepping up with her first career double-double. How much is that a testament to what this team is about this season?
Yeah, I feel like that's the beauty of our team. Like, we all can do different parts and we all have our talents, but it's just when one's down, one has to step up. So everybody knows their role and just attack it.
Selena, just saying it right there, everyone knows their role. What is your role on the team this season?
I would just say be more of a vocal leader and like trying to tell people like what positions to be in on defense. And then everybody kind of has the same role. We all tell each other what to do. We just have to take that into consideration.
You're one of the upperclassmen this year, and you also come back with a lot of experience. You started on last year's team amongst all of that high-powered talent. How has that experience helped you into this year with the leadership that you have on the court?
It definitely has helped because like I knew like how other teams played and what we had to like look forward to, like scouting wise. But everybody was ready.
Who is the funniest on the team?
Funniest on the team? Probably Altia.
Ooh. Why is she so funny?
She's interesting. She's different. She's so different. She loves to fish. She loves country music, but like at the same time, like, I don't know, she'll just always make a side comment that will make you laugh in the wrong times.
So if she loves country music, at practice, at a home game, on your playlist, is there at least one country song that we can expect to be on that playlist?
Probably not on my playlist, but definitely on hers.
What's your playlist like? What kind of music we have in that?
I listen more of like hip hop and R&B.
Favorite pregame song?
Probably "Whoa" right now by Lil Baby.
Can you sing it for us a little bit? I'm putting you on the spot.
I can't. I don't know all the lyrics.
Fair. That is very, very fair. Selena, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
They are celebrating Alumni Day on the campus of Villanova University. They inducted 6 new members to their Athletics Hall of Fame to start the weekend, and now all the former women's basketball players being introduced. They had an alumni game before the contest. Georgetown fought hard in the second quarter to get back in this one, trailing by 9 at the break.
And the difference was they were not settling for the outside shots. They were penetrating and getting to the rim, and when there was help, they were then kicking it out to the perimeter instead of settling for the original perimeter shot. That was the difference of why they were able to close the gap.
Kovachikova hitting the 3, Jones the drive, but Villanova had answers, in particular from Bridget Herlihy.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. She was able to drive on the left-hand side. Mary Gadeka doing what Mary Gadeka does from the inside and the outside, but I really thought the difference was Bridget Herlihy and her ability to turn the corner and get on the left-hand side.
And Herlihy showed off the full array of moves. Off the bounce, in the post, from the perimeter. She beat Georgetown in an assortment of different ways, and it was very frustrating. You could see it on James Howard's face as he thought his team had worked their way back in it. You look at the team stats in the first half, both teams shot it well from the perimeter, but the difference on the glass.
Yeah, they dominated the glass, but also points in the paint. That is not up on that screen. Villanova 16 points in the paint, but typical Villanova three-point shooting from years before, shooting 60% right now from 3, and that's really been the difference. It's been the difference of playing inside out. They get to the rim, and then that opens up the perimeter shooting.
60% from 3, 60% from 2, 60% overall. It's been pretty rock-solid consistent from Harry Paredes' team, as they have a 9-point lead at the half. You can see the photo ops from the alums. A celebration on the main line. We'll see if the Wildcats can cap it off with a win in the second half.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Villanova leading Georgetown by 9 at the half. Big East Conference men's and women's basketball teams, in recognition of the incomparable impact that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made in his quest for national unity and social justice, are wearing shooting shirts before their games this weekend that read, "We cannot walk alone." Here now from student athletes on the impact Dr. King has made on their lives.
Dr. Martin Luther King had a huge impact on me. He just made me believe no matter what you do, anything is possible.
I think the legacy that he put in place means a lot to me because I always think about where we came from as people of color, as athletes of color, and I just try to make sure that whatever I'm doing now in the present is going to set up those for the future.
Being in the Big East is so diverse. Being at DePaul University is so diverse. So to come along and to share our talents is one of the messages that Martin Luther King shared with us, that we can all come together and be as one.
His willingness to sacrifice himself and, fight for others, that goes a long way for the future and anybody who wants to stand up for change and equality.
The Big East Conference and member schools
champion excellence
by embracing respect and diversity
while striving for a culture of inclusion and equity.
Be inclusive.
Be inclusive.
You're watching Georgetown basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Getting set for the start of the second half. Villanova ahead by 9. It was an interesting first 20 minutes, Christine. Villanova controlled the opening quarter. Georgetown dominated the first 5 minutes of the second period, and then Nova closed strong in the second quarter.
It's been a game of runs. Both teams have been at their best when they've been getting to the rim. Villanova using those screens, using the slips, and then once they've gotten to the rim a few times, sucked that defense in, then they kicked it out. Georgetown settling for outside shots early, but then in that second quarter when they made their surge, they got to the rim, they got to the free throw line, and that's what they need to do to try to make up this deficit. I can't wait to see what happens in the third quarter.
Villanova has to feel good about the fact they have a 9-point lead when Maddie Sechrist, one of the best offensive players in the Big East, was held to just 5 points over those first 20 minutes. But James Howard has to feel equally good. His team went 6.5 minutes without scoring and is still within single digits.
And Maddie Sechrist, even though she's only scored 5 points, she had 8 rebounds in that first half. So she's affecting the game in different ways.
Impressive for a young player not to let a lack of offensive production affect the other avenues of her game. Herlihy from straight away. That's the start the Wildcats had in mind.
Well, she's picking up right where she left off, her 15th point of the game. We talked about her being the third scorer on this team, and she's like, no, tonight I'm going to be the number 1 scorer on this team.
What a game she has had. Tayana Jones getting the start here in this third quarter. Can't hit the off-balance look. And back to Villanova.
And another intelligent play there, she boxed out the defender instead of trying to get the basketball. But the way Villanova can catch the ball off the screen or off their rotation, 2-footed jump stop, so they have either foot as a pivot foot, and then they can go either way and go up with a shot.
Georgetown was very unsure what defense they were in, but Tayana Jones says, don't worry about it. Can't finish the layup. Neither can Ozagi Aresi on the follow, and it ends up with Villanova. What a weird stretch that was.
And so disappointing for the Hoyas, but that's why you don't give up on a play. That's why you run with your teammate, even if they're out in front. 2 Hoyas followed up. Neither can get the ball, but Villanova also getting to the spot to try to get the rebound.
Georgetown had no idea what defense they were playing. Maybe again as Sechrist left wide open for the triple.
Yeah, Kalava just not able to close out there. Again, wide open for Maddie Sechrist. This is how the game started in the first quarter as well.
A game-high 15-point lead for Villanova. Boy, does Georgetown need a bucket. Jones will try to provide it. And James grabs the board.
Yeah, Kalava got the ball right down on the block and turned towards the middle of the floor where the left side was wide open. All she had to do was drop step and go up and in, but choosing to pass it out.
Good hands from Jones. Couldn't save it, though. It'll stay with Villanova, 18 to shoot.
Yeah, that's what Georgetown needs to do. They have to have that smothering defense, get when you're 1 pass away, deny, 2 passes away, help, and really try to create some possessions off their defense.
Good position. Sechrist using the left.
See how she did that in one motion? She had sealed Tayana Jones. She just caught the ball and moved into the hook shot all in one motion.
8 straight for Villanova to start the second half, and James Howard has to take a timeout. His Hoyas struggling as Maddie Sechrist filling it up for the Wildcats, who have a 17-point lead 2 minutes into quarter number 3.
You're watching Georgetown Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
We're all in, all together. Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovan's aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Good start to the second half for Villanova. An 8-0 run in the first 2 minutes. Cool tradition they have here on the main line. As you see Taylor Barnes for the Hoyas calling timeout, trying to regain their composure, but they honor a military member during the media timeout. And this game, it was Colleen Gallagher, a former player who had 3 decades of service. And then they sing God Bless America. Very cool stuff for Harry Peretta's program here at the Finneran Pavilion.
Yeah, she was a 1983 graduate for Harry Peretta. You know, with this being Alumni Day, Katie Davis being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Villanova with one of the top Alumni Days consistently every single year. Today had over 80 former players here. Granted, it's Harry Peretta's final year, his 42nd season. So many of his players have come back, and it tells you a lot about the culture and the family environment of this program.
It absolutely does. You know, Harry Peretta, he's a sentimental guy, and he's been honest about the fact that he knows he's going to miss it when this is done. And it's been emotional for him over the course of the year. The one thing that is not his last, though, it's not his last Alumni Day. He gets to come back to that every year because he'll be a part of this program forever. Carey helps his team here as the ball goes back to Villanova.
What I want to know is when he comes back to watch games, will he talk and analyze the game, or will he be able to just sit and enjoy?
That's a good point. Your job might be in trouble, Christy.
I don't know. You said it. You heard it here first.
I would pay money to listen to Harry Peretta speak about the game of basketball. He'll have to clean it up a little bit, though. Seacrest. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Hurley, he's had the big game. Seacrest, the fast start to the second half. And this time the rebound cleared by Kaleva, who's fouled in the backcourt.
Yeah, Kaleva securely had that rebound in hand. A little bit of a silly foul there by Maddie Seacrest, 80 feet from your basket. But again, she is only a freshman, and we forget that. She's a redshirt freshman, and she still is only a half a season of game competition.
Unbelievable. The impact she has had so quickly on this Villanova program. Maddie Seacrest, a kid out of Poughkeepsie, New York. She redshirted last year. You know, her high school coach, his daughter, played for Harry Peretta at Villanova. There was a natural connection, and yet it wasn't the high school coach that let her know about what Seacrest could do as Nova forces another one and done.
Yeah, it was actually a former assistant of Harry Peretta's, Heather Vallon. She was at Manhattan at the time, and she was their number 1 pick. She didn't really have any interest in going to Manhattan, and Heather called Harry and said, hey, there's a kid you have to see. I think she's a sleeper. And, you know, he sent his assistants to go see her, and they liked her. And again, when he went to see her, thought she would be good, but had no idea she'd have the impact this early that she's having. Not only is she having offensive output, she's leading the Big East in scoring. Phenomenal start for the young freshman.
Onken has had a nice offensive day as Peretta, longest tenured coach in women's college basketball history in his 42nd and final year at Villanova. It shows the trust he has in his current assistants, even his former assistants. They tell him something, he listens. He's got an open mind.
Yeah, they have free substitutions. He says, do what you want. You know, and you know, Shanette Lee and Joe Mulaney, they've just done such a great job, the entire staff.
He cannot speak in glowing enough terms about his staff, and called Joe Mulaney a co-head coach. He said he's not an assistant, he's more than that.
Yeah, and Laura as well, one of the top assistants there for the staff. It's a family environment, and it's the family business.
Yeah, you've seen it today, Alumni Day and all the functions. They're going to have a dinner after the game today. Harry said he wanted to make sure he could spend some more time with the former players. Hurley, his current player, filling it up, but couldn't get the roll that time. And Kaleva clears the board as Georgetown still has not scored in the second half.
Yeah, these are those droughts that we talked about. Georgetown can score in bunches, but they can also have long droughts on the offensive end, and that's been an issue for them all season.
They went 6.5 minutes without a bucket in the first half. Barnes can't end a more than 4-minute drought here to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and that was, you know, Coach Howard talking about their quote-unquote offensive deficiencies, as he put it, and said we have to be great on the defensive end and create our offense from our defense.
They leave Gadeka open. She can't get the roll. And another rebound for Kaleva. That's not who you want to leave open. That's not being locked into the scouting report. Hurley, he locked in, gets the block, starts the breakout for Onken. The easy two.
Onken going out, running that wide lane like a receiver, catching that ball up with a right hand.
What a play by Hurley. And a pretty good pass from Sechrist as well.
Well, there's so much energy in the Finn right now with all the alums back, the honorees. There's so much energy here. You know, one of the most crowded games of the season, and just really honoring a program and a coach that has led many people in this building.
12-0 run from Villanova as they have opened this game up. Hurley again. And this time Barnes, the weak side board.
Now if you're Georgetown, you want to start to play in segments. What can you do in this next 4:36 to chip the 21-point lead and just play in segments and try to chip away?
Right now you're just trying to see the ball go in the basket. Barnes will get a chance at the free throw line. Hurley doing it all on offense and defense as the Wildcats in control, off and running, up 21 halfway through the third quarter.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? And we gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Georgetown looking for a plan B. They have not scored so far in the second half. They also went more than 6.5 minutes without a bucket in the opening half, trailing Villanova by 21. The Hoyas upcoming, a tough road trip, as tough as it comes in this conference at Marquette, at DePaul. Not much easier with the homestand that follows Seton Hall and St. John's.
Yeah, the Big East is just loaded this year. There's a lot of parity. You don't really have that one team separating themselves except for maybe DePaul. They're top 15 in the country as of now. But these scoring droughts for Georgetown, that's what's been, the Achilles heel for this team, whether they're at home or on the road. Their lone win against Providence, they'll meet them again. But right now, what Georgetown needs to do is crash those boards because Villanova is plus 11 on the boards, and I think that's been a big key. And I think when Georgetown is driving to the basket, that's where they've been at their best.
Georgetown 29% from the field. They've made just 11 shots for the game on 38 attempts. They'll get a couple of freebies here as Taylor Barnes at the foul line. And still can't end what is a 5-minute, 34-second scoreless drought for James Howard's team.
And Villanova has gone on scoring droughts as well. There have been multiple games this season where Villanova's gotten out on a big lead, including Xavier last weekend, and then Villanova keeps that door open. The opposing team squeaks back into single digits, and then Villanova typically wins those games. So if Georgetown can get some stops, stop the clock and get to the free throw line, but make those free throws, they still have a chance.
Mackenzie Gardner in for the first time for the Wildcats. Passed up at open three. Onken hit too early. Mullen the step back. The shot clock does not reset. The shot block from Kayleva leads to the violation. And the ball back to the Hoyas.
And that's what you need if you're the Hoyas. What a great defensive set for the entire shot clock. They weren't able to get the rebound, but they were in position to play solid defense, and a great block there by Kayleva.
By the way, you mentioned Villanova, some scoring droughts this year. They went more than 10 minutes in the Butler game last week without making a shot. But their defense kept them in the game. They were still only down by 15 afterwards. Shania Wright gets the field goal for Georgetown. She'll head to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play.
And what you saw by Shania right there, she was demanding the basketball. She had the post up. She had the shape up. She clapped her hands and said, give me that ball. She knew she had her player pinned and went up and now trying for a three-point play.
Wright, the Brooklyn, New York native, was very highly regarded coming out of high school. She was the 83rd ranked player in the entire class of 2018, according to ESPN, number 16 swing player. So she's got some upside.
Now you see that pressure by Georgetown, picking up full court, making Villanova take some time to get into their offensive sets, but you got to close out on the weak side.
Good skip pass from the freshman Mullen. Sechrist just couldn't hit the jumper.
And Wright with the rebound on the weak side, making it happen on both ends of the floor.
Little spark off the bench from the Hoyas at a time when they desperately need it. Wide open. Gordon can't hit. Kayleva can't clean it up. Right, third time's a charm.
She is doing it all right now for the Hoyas. This spurt is hers and hers alone, doing it on both ends.
And Georgetown back to within 15. Mullen does not force the open jumper. Villanova work for a better look. Gardler buries it from the corner.
Well, that was a little bit of a heat check there for Wright. She was a little late on the closeout, was underneath the basket, just could not get there on time, but a great shot by Gardner.
Nice step back move, but Kovachikova couldn't finish. Sechrist grabs the rebound. Nobody stops the ball, but recovering late, Kayleva for the block.
But Villanova trying to force that action. Maddie Sechrist felt like she had that advantage, took those long strides. She picked up the ball at the free throw line, but with the 1-2 step, but a nice block there by Kayleva.
Nova by 18. Wright will sit down. As Deanna Jones back in for the Hoyas.
Villanova loves to isolate Mary Gadeka, whether it's down low or on the opposite side of the floor. And there you saw the clear out for her to do some damage on the wing, but chose to reverse the basketball.
Early, he called for the offensive foul, battling for position inside. Little hook gives it back to the Hoyas.
Well, she does such a nice job of getting position and then going either way. She feels that defender on her back. She kind of uses those elbows to feel and then turns whichever way the defense is not.
She ended up on her backside. Could not believe it when the official called the foul against her.
She's like, hey, this is Big East basketball. There's supposed to be a little bit of contact.
Kayleva, a pretty turnaround jumper, and the Hoyas trying to get back in it.
Kayleva has done some nice things on both sides of the floor. She's been important on defense in the third quarter with some blocks and closeouts and knocking some shots down on offense.
Hoyas would love to turn Villanova over with that pressure, but at minimum, they want to speed them up.
Well, you look now, they're down 16. If you can get a stop and maybe get 4 more points, then it's doable.
Gadeka off the dribble, created the look, but couldn't finish. Jones the board.
And there's the stop. Now can they get a bucket?
Barnes in transition, can't hit the three. Gardner chases down the long rebound.
Really important rebound there on the weak side to be able to slow some things up, take a little bit of time off the clock here in the end of the third quarter.
The maestro, Harry Peretta, instructing his team as the crowd grew quiet. Whatever he said had his alums laughing behind the Villanova bench. Gadeka using the left and the foul.
Mary Gadeka is so deceptive on that first step. You know, she looks like a traditional post player, but watch how she swings the ball through a little bit of a head fake, uses her body, but it's that quick first step that she's able to gain on her defender and get to the rim. Her footwork is phenomenal.
Jones looked like she was trying to force her left, and Gadeka said, yeah, I'll take the open path. Mullen, meanwhile, amongst the trees, grabs the offensive rebound.
And if you're Georgetown, those are things, the details that cannot happen. On a free throw, the opposing team, you got to block out the shooter. You have to get that basket.
Gardner didn't recognize it. 5 on the timer. You know Ganeka sees it. Onken will try for a third three. Can't get this one. And Herlihy was on the baseline while grabbing for the loose ball. Well, the youngsters for this Villanova team giving some good minutes, though, here late in the third quarter. Brooke Mullen, the true freshman. Mackenzie Gardner, the redshirt freshman. Jones tried to drive. Mullen picked her pocket. And wisely will hold for one.
Very good decision. And now you'll see Mary Gadeka control this last possession.
7 left for Gadeka. And it blocked by Kaleva. Georgetown tries at the buzzer. Barnes was late, didn't go anyway. And that's the end of the third quarter. Georgetown tried to work their way back in it. The long scoring drought to start the period. They went more than 5.5 minutes without a bucket. They trail by 18, 10 minutes left to rally.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts, solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Villanova leads by 18 as we go to the fourth quarter. The Wildcats looking to improve to 5-2 in Big East play. They got a non-conference win earlier in the week over Penn. That clinched them a share of the Philadelphia City Series of the Big Five. As we look ahead at their upcoming schedule, they've got that same tough road trip at DePaul, at Marquette, before welcoming St. John's and Seton Hall here to the Finn.
Yeah, it's really another tough schedule. I think we say that for every single team, no matter who they're about to play. But there's been some of these 3-game road trips for a lot of teams. It's just it's a long time to be away from home.
Villanova went to Seton Hall, to St. John's, and swept the weekend series a couple of weeks ago. Harry Peretta said he told his team afterwards, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have given you a negative chance of coming out of there with a pair of victories. Then he went back to the 1 to 10 scale when looking at it from a historic perspective in his long career. He said if 1 to 10 scale 10 was beating UConn when they had the long winning streak, that was an 8.5. That's a guy not prone to hyperbole. That's pretty high praise as Georgetown turns it over to start the fourth quarter.
And thinking back to that Villanova-St. John's game, I mean, that's always such a unique matchup, and what a way to come out with that win. But, you know, when we were talking back to this game, we're talking about the offensive proportion of this team. You know, they have 4 players in double figures right now. Georgetown doesn't have anyone in double figures, and we talked about that, about Barnes being their only double-figure scorer, and it's proving true here again today. Points are hard to come by.
They trail by 18. obviously going to have to string together a whole bunch of defensive stops if they want to get back in this. Sechrist going through the body of Shania Wright, who had a nice third quarter for the foul.
Yeah, I thought she really made the difference for the Hoyas, and she's trying to establish that position, said right away, and Seeger's trying to get over the top. They do not want Wright to post up because she kind of had her way a little bit down low in that third quarter.
Wright had 5. All of them came in the third period. Osagi Eresi lost it. Tried to stick with it, but Anken ends up with a loose ball.
And good job by Anken. She started to try to dribble the ball, but grabbed it with 2 hands. A lot of times players want to dribble the ball off the ground, but best practice, grab that ball with 2 hands and then go.
Herlihy again with the left hand using the window.
Herlihy's been dominant, just showing and going from the free throw line, swinging through to the left side on a layup.
Nova up 20. Megan was eavesdropping at.
Coach Harry Peretta credit his team to their defense in the third quarter, saying they played really strong defense, holding the Hoyas to only 8 points, and they need to see that continue throughout this final stretch.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. Nova ahead by 20 and still coaching right to the end.
It doesn't matter if they're up by 20 or down by 20. Harry Peretta is teaching and coaching. He's an educator, and his classroom is the hardwood.
Gedeka will earn herself another trip to the free throw line. Try to pad the advantage for the Wildcats.
You know, watching Mary Gedeka all these years at Villanova, she's just improved each and every year. Her offensive output, her averages, the way she's been able to score. First, she was just able to kind of go down low and shoot outside. Now she can do it all, but do it all very well, consistently, and she doesn't have to think about it. She's really become an all-time great here at Villanova.
Has gotten a little bit better every single year as a free throw batted out of bounds, and looks like the official changed his mind. Initially pointed Georgetown's way. It'll be Wildcat ball. But Gedeka was the 60th player of the year in 2018, 2019, a second team All-Big East selection. You have to think there's a really good chance she'll be a first teamer this year.
Well, she becomes such a hard matchup because, okay, if you put a post player on her, she's going to pull you outside and either take you or hit the 3. And if you put a guard on her, they're going to isolate her with the 4-out, 1-in.
Some contact, no call as Gedeka couldn't get it over right. Here come the Hoyas. Again, Villanova back in transition. Wright got hit and heads back to the stripe for 2 more.
I've been really impressed with Shania Wright and what she's been able to do here in the second half, demanding the basketball down low, getting position on whoever's guarding her, keeping her body nice and low and wide, and going strong to the rim with the basketball. She's been to the free throw line a few times trying to create some opportunities for her team.
Pulls Georgetown back within 20. Going back to Gedeka for a second. As you see James Howard trying to talk things over with his team. Sechrist has been so good in large part because Gedeka has drawn so much attention. Sechrist is good. Harry Peretta says, don't get me wrong, but the reason why she has the number she has is because of number 30.
That is absolutely true. Anytime you see a younger player that's offsetting from that established post player, it's very easy. It's the next year when that player is gone. Then you start to see, when you have all the attention, just how hard it is to get open and to get some good looks.
Early he missed the bunny, but then a very errant pass from Tayana Jones. Manute Bol couldn't have caught that one.
That just kind of slipped out of her hands, and she just looked at her hands like almost to say, why have you failed me?
A little miscommunication. Who was checking out for Villanova as Sechrist returns. And it'll be Anken who sits down for Harry Peretta's club as they hold a 19-point lead, 7 1/4 left in the final period.
You know, Harry Peretta, we talked about him coaching at all times, and he's over on the sideline with a towel. He has one knee on the floor and a towel. You think after 42 years they'd get him a knee pad or a pad over there or something.
He probably turns it down as Gedeka adds to the advantage on the pretty feet inside. Wright doing some work with the hook shot. Nice touch from Shania Wright.
she's been a really tough matchup. Whoever's been on her, whether it's Maddie Siegrist, Mary Gadeka, she's had her way down low.
Raven James kind of set the tone early for Villanova. It was Onken and James. In the second half, it's been Siegrist and Gadeka, although Maddie couldn't finish that time. Jones on the drive, too strong off the window. And look at Gadeka weave through the entire defense and win the race.
Again, it's deceiving. She has some speed.
What a transition move from Mary Gadeka, racing down the long rebound and beating the Hoyas back as Villanova beating up on their longtime rivals, up 21 with 6:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena.
All Nova today. Wildcats leading by 21 with 6:15 to go in the fourth quarter. The Big East Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Jeep returns to Wintrust Arena in downtown Chicago, March 6th through the 9th. All session tickets for the 2020 conference tournament are now on sale, starting at just $50. For tickets, visit bigeast.com/WBB tickets. You know, coming into conference play, I don't think many thought Villanova would be a big factor in the Windy City, but they are playing unbelievably to start conference action. Mary Gadeka, a big part of the reason why.
Yeah, and you know, they've had to play walk-ons at certain times. They've had injuries. Kelly Jaycott graduated and then transferred to Penn State as a grad student. So Harry Peretta saying, we've had to find new ways to win this year. I've had to play combinations and do things in a much different way than I ever had before. But when we talk about Georgetown, you know, there hasn't been a ton of positive, but some positive things. They had 21 bench points, and Shania Wright with 9 of them, but only 8 turnovers by Georgetown.
Hustle play, Villanova quicker to the loose ball as Grace Ann Bennett barrels into Brooke Mullen and is called for the foul.
And the only reason why that happened is because I said they only had 8 turnovers and they were taking good care of the ball. So, of course, there has to be a turnover because that's the kind of day it is.
The old Mata Jinx.
You're a jinx.
21-point Villanova lead, but it has been kind of paramount of the day. Villanova's just been a step quicker to every loose ball. That's why the rebounding margin is what it is. 7 to shoot for Gadeka. Tough angle skip pass. Good hands from Kovachikova. Still 5 to shoot for Nova.
Be interested to see what the sideline play is if they try to ISO Mary Gadeka or get her down low.
Tough angle inbound. Gadeka, great catch and gets the banker.
Why not? She's just so strong with the basketball, able to handle that very tough angle with the pass, but handled it and got it up strong.
And using the window, that makes your job easier. Jones, the mid-range. And that's kind of been her season this year. James Howard talking about she has struggled so mightily with her shot. Hasn't let it affect the other parts of her game or her attitude, but you can see it's wearing on her a little bit. James from very deep, and there's Jones for the board.
It was very positive here for the Wildcats, shooting the ball really well, and you hope that this is going to carry them through the next few games. That's what they've been looking for. Harry Preder always says the magic number's 9. If they can make 9 3-pointers a game, he feels like they can win.
Jones can't hit the 3, and Villanova caught for a foul on the rebound, so it'll stay with the Hoyas. They've gone more than 500 consecutive games making at least 1 3. Jones only 25% from deep on the year. But it is interesting, Christine, how despite all the shooting struggles in the early part of the year, Preder kept his team looking for the shot and not shying away from pulling the trigger.
Well, he says very clearly, he says, you have to play like you feel the next one is always going to go in. He's like, I don't care if you miss 20 in a row. He's like, I want you to feel confident. He's like, I'm never going to yell at you for taking that shot, but feel like it's going to go in. And that's an offensive-minded coach.
Double dribble from Caleb gives the ball back to Villanova. He also said with a motion offense, if you don't shoot it because you don't have confidence, you're not just affecting yourself. You're impacting the entire offense. As Onken missed the bunny, stuck with it and tipped it to James.
What an effort. What an effort by Cameron Onken right there to get that possession.
Mullen left wide open, couldn't convert. Onken still fighting for the ball, but Georgetown ends up with it. Kavachkova all the way will go to the free throw line.
Not a bad foul there at all by Brooke Mullen. Rather try to foul and make them get free throws. She hustled down, thought she might have been clear for the block, but good take there as well by Kavachkova.
She played at the World University Games this past summer. Led her Slovakia team to a 2-4 record, but led the squad in scoring and assists. And pulls Georgetown back to within 21. James Howard said missing some pieces that we just can't make up for. From graduation last year, knew it was going to be a bit of a rebuilding year. And then when you add in the injury to Morgan Smith, certainly didn't plan on that. She was going to be a big part of this offense.
Yeah, and they graduated so much. I mean, you talk about Deanna White and just what they were, but Georgetown has to get back to their basics of defense, creating offense, and really making teams play at their pace.
No more Dorothy White, no more Adamako as well. Big presence inside on both ends of the floor. Georgetown coming off of back-to-back trips to the Big East Tournament semifinals, something they had never done in program history as Kavachkova hits from deep.
Yeah, big mistake there by Brooke Mullen going underneath that screen on the outside. You know Kavachkova can hit that. You kind of got to go over the top.
Mullen, of course, basketball running in her veins. Her uncle Chris, NBA Hall of Famer, and maybe even better during his time at St. John's, led the Red Storm to a Final Four. Seacrest continues to fill it up in the second half.
Yeah, this balanced scoring for Villanova has got to put a smile on Harry Preder's face.
What a day from Herlihy. Another block.
Her length just disrupts so many things because typically, you know, you're going to have Gedeka and Seacrest on the two forwards, and then Herlihy can take that other matchup player and they can play to those strengths.
Seacrest couldn't get the roll, but how about the hustle to stick with it? And she's rewarded with a trip to the line.
Well, and that's why she's able to do these things. You know, this game is in their hand, but she's still going hard. She's going after the ball. She's doing the things that she needs to do. And you got to love when you can't tell if a player, you know, has 17 points or if they have 0 points. And I feel that's how Maddie Seacrest is. You can't really tell what type of game she's having by her attitude out there. And that's where she might be on her way to being a really, really good player for this program.
Yeah, when we asked Harry Preder about Maddie Seacrest, he used the word attitude no fewer than 4 times, and all of them in a positive manner, which is not something you always see these days. As Seacrest sits down, gets a big round of applause from the crowd here. She had 13 points, 9 of them in the second half.
Yeah, you're seeing some of the Villanova bench players coming in. Grace Lang, the walk-on from Caravel Academy in Delaware. Mackenzie Gardler getting in as well. You know, Harry again talked about, you know, playing players he didn't think in the summer that they'd be playing, but they've given them good minutes. He said the thing about it is we may not have thought we were going to play, Rebecca Gartner and Gardler and Lang, but they've given us really good production and what we need them to do. And he's like, I want them to try to score the ball as well. They're not just out there as a body. They're out there to contribute.
And almost as important, the role they've played in practice, because Villanova's just lacking bodies.
Yep.
You mentioned Lang played her high school ball at Caravel Academy under Kristen Mills. 3 from the wing, good for Onken. She's made 3 today. She had 5 all season.
She's had a great all-around game, not just on the offensive end, but what she's been able to do on the defensive end with rebounds, keeping possessions alive, diving on the floor, and getting in help defense. She's had a great floor game.
Final 95 seconds here at the Finn. Very impressive performance tonight from Villanova. They held Georgetown without a point for more than 5 minutes on 2 separate occasions. Barnes the steal. And the pull-up to bring the Hoyas back to within 24.
Nice stop and pop there by Taylor Barnes. But you talk about the great game today by the Villanova Wildcats. Whenever you have alums in the building, and over 80 of them and their families, you want to keep that legacy and that tradition alive. And also for Harry Preda in his last year, there's just something special. You could feel it in the Finn here today. Just all the family environment and the excitement and the tradition.
Lang couldn't hit the open jumper. You could feel it from the crowd wanting to see the walk-on, getting the scorebook. Barnes hits another triple. That'll make the final margin a little closer for the Hoyas.
Yeah, she's had a really nice game here today. Her and Kovachikova, the 2 players in double figures, really just trying to get things done on the offensive end for the Hoyas.
Lang again open. And Bennett the rebound. Georgetown will get one more shot. The Hoyas will drop to 1-6 in Big East play. After they had gone 4-8 in non-conference, but the injuries and inconsistencies continue to mount. Bennett got it off to Jones, who couldn't hit the 3, and Villanova will be able to dribble out the final seconds. Harry Peretta's Wildcat team beats their longtime rivals at the Veteran Pavilion. A wire-to-wire 74-53 rout for the Legend. We'll come back. Megan Caffrey will be joined by our player of the game in a moment.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's break it.
1, 2, 3.
Together!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The Villanova Wildcats beat Georgetown 74-53 as I'm now joined with senior forward Bridget Hurley. Bridget, your team held the Hoyas to just 8 points in the third quarter. Defensively, how were you able to disrupt their offense?
I guess we just knew going into the half that defense was going to be big because we let them score 30 in the first half, and we know that we need to keep teams to score less because we're not usually offensively the best team in terms of scoring quickly. So we knew that we had to jump the passes, make sure that we weren't letting the ball get to the people who are higher percentage scorers. So that's what we tried to do.
Coach Preda talked to us coming into this game about your development from beyond the arc. 2 3-pointers for you today. How have you improved in your 3-point shooting?
Well, he tells me every day I need to shoot the ball up higher, and cup the ball when I catch it. That's what he always tells me, and I just try to focus on that.
3 wins for your team in a row now. What's behind this win streak?
I think that we just knew coming in that these were going to be very important games, and we put all our energy out on the court and just worked as hard as we could together to try and get the wins.
Bridget, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cats, in your wire-to-wire win, they did it with transition, they did it with jumpers, they did it with defense, a little bit of everything, Christine.
Multiple players with double figures, but it wasn't only the offensive output, it was their defense as well. Total team.
So Villanova now 11-7 overall, 5-2 in conference play. Georgetown drops to 4-14 and 1-6. For our entire Big East Digital crew and my partner Christine Coramata, I'm Matt Janis, thanks so much for tuning in. Nova with the win. Thanks, guys.